All right, everybody, welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken, and this is Brian. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens.
Yes, I found out today that it's fungible, not fungible.
Say that again?
It's fungible.
Fungible, yes.
And not
like
fungible.
fungus.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And that really, for those that don't know what fungible means, it's just, it's not transferable for the same value. So you can't,
Right.
if I give you $10, you can give me 10 ones back, you can give me a different $10 bill back, you can give me a check for $10.
But still
so
$10.
American dollars are highly fungible. But
Right.
if I let you borrow my house for a week, you couldn't just give me the keys to a different house next week and say, hey, here you go. Or a car is probably a better example. If I were to borrow your car for a week and drive around, you couldn't bring me a different car back and hand me the keys and say, here you go, without me going, what the hell?
Right.
It's my car.
Exactly.
So vehicles are not fungible, but
It reminds me of the barter system. I mean, it's kind of what bartering is. Like, they're not the same value. They're the same value, but not really. It's really what it is for that person.
Yes.
Right? Like trying to trade a motorcycle for a car.
I'm trying to do that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But I'm basing it on something that is fungible, which is the U.S. dollar, right? So I've got a Jeep that's worth about $8,000, and I'm looking to trade it for a motorcycle that's worth about $8,000. So vehicles can be fungible.
They can be.
But it's not typically.
Right.
So
Right.
Yep.
Right. So before we dive in, as usual, first I want to let you guys know my text line 314-216-2040. The things that text me would be topics that you want to talk about. You want us to talk about on the podcast, questions that you have. It could be about a previous podcast. There's a question that you're just struggling with in your business that you need answers to. We'll help you solve it. Okay?
Specifically like marketing strategies,
Right.
online marketing strategies.
Right. Or IT things as well.
Yes. My text line 314-370-2871. Just text me random stuff, and I'll text you random stuff, and it'll be fun. I won't text you any kind of sales stuff at all. I won't try to sell you anything through that text line community. I will only send motivational stuff, tips and tricks. It will be business related or technology related, and it might just be motivational fun stuff. So kind of lighthearted, nothing too serious in there, just part of the community and having fun, asking questions, and learning from each other.
Just create a network, a real community. That's what community does.
Yep.
Just look after one another.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start off today with our Between the Cubicles, and today's Between the Cubicles is sponsored by Nlink.com. Nlink.com is the place you go to centralize all of your social media for your business, right? So that way you can just send that link and they can connect with you. You can get payments. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. Text.
Brian did not go on D&D with his phone.
That's not my phone.
It's not doing this disturb.
That's your phone.
It's my phone. It's playing after that. My Pandora just started ringing.
Out of nowhere.
We all saw it. My phone's possessed.
And I got blamed for it.
I thought it was your phone. I put my phone on D&D and Pandora just started. That's weird. I think it might be time for a new phone.
It might be.
I mean, I've been wanting the 5G anyway, so
I guess that's a sign?
it might be a sign for me to get a new phone. So,
All right.
so Nlink.com, report made it easy.
Yeah.
Make sure that you claim your business name on Nlink.com while it's still available, right? Right now,
Yes.
Nlink's only about 2 weeks old, so you can get Nlink.com / whatever name you want, not whatever name you want right now, but there's still a lot of those names available, and it's a great way to aggregate all of your different profiles from your Nlink, your LinkedIn, to Facebook, your Cash App, your Google Map, I think they're integrating Google Maps now, Pinterest, all of those profiles in one place.
Phone line, text message. I mean,
All of those things, so you
Communicate.
can give out one URL and have everything under that one hood.
and BT Dubs, it's free, so why not?
Yes.
Why not? All right, so today's Between the Cubicle is your trip.
Oh, my trip.
Yeah, he said my trip.
Oh. See, I'm going on a trip this week, or next week. I'm going on a trip. So
And it changed kind of last minute, right?
it changed a lot last minute. So I was had a plan. I have this ridiculously big Jeep Gladiator that's all decked out. And I really designed it to be so I could go out and like a survival vehicle and be out in the desert or the woods
Outlander.
for several days to weeks at a time. And unfortunately, about a month ago.
Some trust issues.
I had a problem with it, and I broke a tie rod and my gearbox and some other stuff. And it's a 2020 Jeep Gladiator, so it's like brand new.
Yeah.
Jeep's been pretty good about it. They're fixing everything, but it's been in the shop for about a month. And I just got it back last week, and not knowing what's going to happen, we kind of changed plans a little bit. So me and my college roommate Ron, now I'm going to fly to Vegas, and he's flying to Vegas, and then from there we're going to drive to Laughlin. And instead of taking the Mojave road trip, which is 3 days through Death Valley,
which would have been awesome.
Which would have been fantastic. We're going to do, we broke it up. We're just going to do like a man vacation. And we've got a day scheduled of dune buggies out in the desert.
Yeah.
We got a day scheduled of jet skis on the Colorado River.
Mancation.
Yeah, so, and then I think we're going to go a little reminiscing from when I was a kid. My grandpa lived out there. We're going to go to Oatman and some other goofy little
I mean, you've been to Vegas
and
the desert quite a bit as a kid.
As a kid, I went to the desert every single summer. Just at a regular basis. My grandfather lived out there. So from like 13 probably till, probably till 35.
That's
I went
cool,
to the desert at least once a year.
That's
if not
really cool.
3 or 4 times in a year. So I love it out there. I fit in really well in the desert. I'm desert kind of people. I like it a lot.
Well, you like the heat too, though.
I really like the heat, and Bullhead, Arizona is the hottest city in the state, in the country.
So the one thing that always just blows my mind about the desert is that it's so hot during the day, but it is like crazy cold at night.
Yeah, there's no cloud cover, right? So the reason we get to stay warm out here in the Midwest is because it warms up everything during the day. When the sun goes down, that heat starts coming up, but the cloud cover makes a nice little blanket for us.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so in the desert, there's no cloud cover. That heat dissipates pretty quickly, and it gets cold.
I thought it was just humidity. I thought it was just like the humidity is what made it the dry.
Well, it's also very low humidity out there, so dry cold.
Much different.
Is much different than wet. I like dry cold better, right? It doesn't hurt as bad.
Interesting.
Personally, but that's.
I know that one time I went to Vegas, it was crazy to me that I can be in the shade and be cold. And then you step out of this, and I'm like, wait, I'm sweating now. This is bonkers.
So I think the difference between in the humidity, so I do cryotherapy a lot. For those that don't know, I do boxing. I'm an amateur boxer as well, so
whoop.
I have injuries frequently. So I do cryotherapy, and the difference between cryotherapy, like sitting in an ice tub, versus the stand-up cryotherapy where you're in there for 3 minutes, is night and day difference. You stand in I think it's nitrogen. I
don't know what that stuff is.
So there's some gas that they turn on, and it's super duper cold. Like I think my max is like negative 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 220, somewhere in there.
Man.
My wife does negative 170 on a regular basis.
Man, see, my people are tropical. I don't know how that
it does wonders for your body, man. It's fantastic. But you're in there for 3 minutes, and you walk out, and you're instantly, instantly back to warm. But if you get into an ice bath,
you're cold for a while.
Man, it takes 2 or 3 days for me to get uncold. What? Like, I get cold to my bones, man. I can't shake it. I get the shivers for a couple days after I do an ice bath, man.
So it sounds like Kevin Hart really wasn't exaggerating how cold
ice
it was.
baths are tough, man. They're painful. Not that the cryo freeze is pretty painful. It's not painful, but it's definitely, you're putting your body into shock. So
Right.
But yeah, I love them. I like extremes of everything, right? So I like extreme heat.
You're an extremist.
Yeah. So more fun. It's just more fun when you when you take it to the edge.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, who am I saying? The guy that raced motorcycles and 170 plus miles an hour.
Right.
It's pretty fast, man.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. I hope the trip goes well. I hope you really enjoy it.
Oh, we'll have a blast, I'm sure.
I'm always a big fan of just people getting away and taking time for themselves. I'm a big guy. I'm big on self-care.
Yep.
And that shows up in many different forms. And I also believe that it's really good for people to spend time with their friends, right? Without their significant others, without their kids, without just actual friends away from stuff. So going on trips,
I love my wife to death. But she is not a traveling kind of girl, man. She's a country girl. So this is actually, in the past 3 years, we have not had a family vacation.
Oh, man.
And this is my second vacation in the last 3 years. and she's not gone on my last 2 vacations with me.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. My daughter went on my last vacation with me, which was phenomenal. We did a 14-day road trip.
So she likes to do that kind of stuff.
My daughter loves it. I mean, but we
Cool.
did 14 days. We did a different state every 2 days.
That's cool, man.
And we did different stuff. Well, we hit every title boxing club along the way.
Oh, that's really cool.
Which was a whole lot of fun. So different title boxing clubs in different cities and see how they do it.
She's a boxer.
Yeah, she loves that stuff too. So it was a whole lot of fun. Then we spent a whole lot of time at the beach because we hit Pensacola and then we hit Destin,
Nice.
Florida. I've got some friends in Destin. I got a hobo friend in Destin. He just lives in a van
Down by the river.
down by the ocean. But, he plays his guitar in local pubs and stuff and loves his life.
He's
So,
living life, man.
yeah, what can he do?
He
So,
probably he don't even wear shoes probably most of the time.
probably, I don't think he's worn a sock in 10 years. Right? So, and we're sitting here suffocating our feet every day, But I don't have the courage to pick up and leave and live like that. And I've got a couple friends that do that, and they make.
I told myself when my oldest gets through high school, that's my opportunity. I think I would have fulfilled my part as a dad.
Yeah.
Right, I got you in a great education or a place where you can get it. You have a house, your own room. It took me a long time to get my own room when I was a kid, growing up with 9 kids in the house.
I never had my own room. And so I think I was 14 when I got my own bedroom.
Exactly my point.
For the first time for myself, right? And then I only had my own bedroom from 15 to 14 to.
And I still share a bedroom, right?
Still share a bedroom. Yeah. I'm not going to give that up. I'll keep sharing a bedroom.
I'll share my
Yeah.
one. I'll do that.
Yeah. So anyway, what's today's topic?
Today's topic, we're
Officially.
talking about cryptocurrency and NFTs, okay?
Non-fungible tokens.
Yes. I'm really pumped up because I'm finally in the cryptocurrency world. All right, I have 2 wallets. Whoop whoop, yay me. I don't know what to do now.
Right.
So before we go into the questions, can you kind of just like give us kind of a breakdown on what is cryptocurrency?
So I'll give you a breakdown of my experience with cryptocurrency.
Okay, let's start there.
And then we'll go from there. So cryptocurrency is basically a digital currency. The United States government does not recognize it as a currency. It is a good, it's literally a good. No different than, so if you're mining cryptocurrency or you own cryptocurrency, you're going to treat it as a company like you would treat inventory if you bought and sold gloves, right? So you buy 1,000 gloves, you have 1,000 gloves in inventory, you bought 1,000 Bitcoins, you got 1,000 Bitcoins in inventory.
Got it.
So the United States government sees it as a good, not a currency. But we all call it a currency, right? And I am not a tax expert by far, so whatever you're doing with cryptocurrency, don't take my word as the holy grail. Talk to your tax person about it. And if you're dealing with cryptocurrency, get a tax person that knows cryptocurrency or at least has some experience with it. The guidelines are getting much more clear now as we move forward with it.
Okay.
But definitely, if you're going to get in this world in any kind of significant way, have a tax person that can help you with this stuff because it does get wildly confusing really, really quickly. So basically, it's a digital coin, no different than if you were to, I'm trying to think of, when I was a kid, I would go to Chuck E. Cheese and I would put $10 in the machine and I would get $10 in Chuck E. Cheese coins back.
Yeah.
Right? I couldn't use those Chuck E. Cheese coins anywhere outside of Chuck E. Cheese, but they were worth $10 inside Chuck E. Cheese. So
that's a great analogy.
When you buy a Bitcoin, you're buying a digital coin that sits in a digital wallet but now there's a lot of places that accept Bitcoin for goods and services. Right. And there's a lot of places that you can exchange your Bitcoins for US dollars or euros or yen or whatever currency you want to trade them in. So there's a lot of trading places out there now that you can trade and convert your cryptocurrency into United States US dollars or any other kind of currency. So that's very helpful.
Yes.
In a nutshell, that's what cryptocurrency is, right? My experience in cryptocurrency goes back probably 2012. I was mining pretty heavily and just really liking playing with blockchain and playing with cryptocurrency, all those things. Raised some money and bought some Bitcoins and really got into mining pretty heavily.
Gotcha.
I think we had at the time, 2014, we had 5 terahashes of power running for Bitcoin, which at the time was significant amount.
Right.
We launched a mining pool for Litecoins. We ended up shutting it down because we got robbed. It was a pretty bad situation. We paid everybody that was mining with us out. We just took the loss and decided to wrap up shop and walk away from it. So I ran a mining pool. I've mined a significant amount. I had a lot of cryptocurrency in Cryptsy.com. The Cryptsy.com guys stole all of our coins and disappeared. The lawsuit just finished, and
you won, right?
Well, yeah, but the government said we can't find the guy, so if we ever find him and get assets,
they're yours.
He was found guilty, but they can't find him. BTCE was BTC-E.com was seized by the federal government. It's still seized, so I hope one day that they unseize it and give us our coins out of the wallets. That would be fantastic. I have no idea. What would? Yeah, I mean, so all of my cryptocurrency that's sitting in BTCE is currently seized by the federal government. No idea when we'll get it back.
Oh man. That's scary.
And the Mt. Gox story where the owner stole everything and left as well. So I have a lot of experience in the cryptocurrency world, a lot of theft, a lot of shady stuff.
It sounds like a lot of robbery is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So in 2017, I sold all my Bitcoins and bought a boxing gym. Mentally and physically, one of the best decisions I've ever made. But had I just held that, I've done the math, and today I'd have $134 million.
Oh my
what
gosh.
I sold for $50,000.
3 years? 4 years?
4 years.
Oh man.
4 years, because we sold. I think the entire group that we put together had made the decision to sell out and just say, hey, because it had been stagnant for some time. The value of Bitcoin had just been kind of stagnant. There wasn't a whole lot of words out, not a lot going on in the marketplace. Mining. So we own and operate a data center, right? So our thought was we have a competitive advantage on mining because we own and operate the data center. In hindsight, what we didn't realize is that we own and operate, Posterion owns and operates a data center that's designed for corporate IT load. Corporate IT load and Bitcoin mining are wildly different. Heat loads are different. The ASHA ratings for how cool the data center needs to be are drastically different. So it just really, it wasn't as big of a competitive advantage as we thought. And we did not anticipate guys in mountains that are 60 degrees year round are literally digging tunnels, throwing up solar plants, and mining for free, basically, right? They don't pay for power. They don't pay for cooling.
Oh, wow. That's a game changer.
Right? So totally different world, right? I mean, St. Louis has really reasonable prices on power, right? We're 6 cents a kilowatt hour in the winter time and 12 cents a kilowatt hour in the summertime, which is a great rate nationwide. There's a couple of states that are cheaper or less expensive than that. But if you can get free solar power and you don't have to cool off your equipment, it wildly changes the game. So that's my experience in the cryptocurrency world. I still have a little bit of cryptocurrency, but nothing significant. I mean, some people will call it significant. It's definitely under $10,000 worth of cryptocurrency.
Some people probably would call that significant.
Yeah, it is significant to a lot of people. $5,000 is a lot of money in any kind of world, but considering I would have had 134 million had I held on, is a whole different story, right? It makes it feel like I really made a gigantic mistake.
I mean, and it's even hard to say that though, because you also got robbed.
Well, I mean, in all things in business, you make the best decision you make at that time with the information that you have, and that's what I did, and that's how I live with this decision. Is I made the best decision that I could at the time with the information that I had available to me.
Right.
So, and I love what I'm doing, so I'm not really too upset about it. And I'm really not sure that with my lifestyle and my habits that I'd even be alive if I had 130 million. So I think there's a reason I'm not filthy rich. My personality just wouldn't take it very well.
Party.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, this is what we do now.
This is what we do now. Business life.
The scene in the movie Blow where he lives on the island, that would be me. So, Yeah, I'm not destined to have that kind of money. But I have a happy, healthy life, and
maybe one day you can just get to the next level where you can be like, okay, I'm gonna be reasonable, and then maybe that money will come back.
Maybe. Who knows?
But if you want to be extremist, they're like, no, this is not for kids.
It's gonna mess up the entire. It's gonna mess up everything. It's gonna kill everybody around it.
But it was a great ride. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about finance. I learned about how to, run a business.
There you go.
And how to run a business that is highly competitive with very, very tight margins is not a business I would recommend anybody going into. But I did learn a lot through that process.
There you go.
And so we keep moving forward. And today, people still ask me questions. I was on the news for crypto at the time.
That's awesome.
I was interviewed a few times and things like that.
We can find that link and put that.
Yeah, I can't find it. It was on Ozark News.
Oh.
If we can find it, then maybe we need to call them and try to get the clips.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. Learned so much, and we keep moving. And I still tell people today, cryptocurrency should be part of your portfolio. Shouldn't be a significant part. But if you have money that you're willing to risk, and you were looking for a gigantic upside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Cardano coin and the Doge coin, I think, are two really affordable coins right now that have some significant backing, right? I think the Cardano coin, there's some governments that are considering moving to it as the backing for their currency. And Dogecoin, Elon Musk has said he wants to make it the internet currency, right? And then PayPal just recently started accepting PayPal started accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment as well. So Bitcoin is the gold standard of crypto. And it used to be Litecoin was kind of the silver, but Ethereum has taken its spot as the kind of the silver, and there's a whole bunch of bronze coins, right?
Gotcha.
And copper. Right?
All right. Well, at least we got some kind of idea here, because I'm still pretty green, so I'm still learning all this stuff. I was crazy nervous about just getting the e-wallet.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, just now we talked about cryptocurrency quite a bit. We haven't really jumped the rails and even talked about blockchain, and blockchain is what makes all these things possible. So
wow.
And I don't think we should talk. I don't know if we're going to talk about blockchain.
I found on my sister. Should we? I don't know yet.
I don't know yet. So we'll see what the questions are.
We'll see where it takes us.
We'll see if we can talk about them without talking about blockchain too much. But we'll talk about blockchain.
Hey, this is basically Ken's show today.
Well, and if you want to think about blockchain, just think I'm assuming there's a database at the federal government that knows. There's got to be the database that says this is all the dollars that have printed and their serial numbers, right? You can consider that like the United States version of blockchain.
Oh.
It's the general ledger. The difference between
coins.
United States federal government having the list of every dollar printed and coin printed, that's a closed blockchain, whereas blockchains, how we think about it today, are kind of open and community fed blockchains. But
we'll circle back around.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe we might.
Maybe, but
Stay
basically you can think of the blockchain as Bitcoin's got a blockchain, Ethereum's got a blockchain, and it's the database that stores who owns what, basically.
And how much of it.
And how much, yeah.
Got it. All right.
And everybody's wallet ID and all that stuff, so.
A general ledger.
Yes.
All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So let's dive right into these questions. Kyle asked, can you define cryptocurrency and NFTs? We've kind of already done that.
Yes.
And I've heard a lot about them in the past few months. I'm not sure the difference between the two.
Oh,
We kind of broke that one down already.
yeah, so cryptocurrency is basically a coin that all of the coins of that type are equal to the same amount. And the market decides how much value they're worth, right? So today, I'm going to use rough numbers here because the numbers are big. A Bitcoin is worth roughly $58,000 on the market today. Every Bitcoin is worth about $58,000 today. So if I were to sell Brian, if I had a Bitcoin and I want to sell it to Brian, I'd say it's worth $58,000. He might go, I'm not going to pay that. Depending on how bad I need money, I might go, I'll sell it to you for $56,000, right? So I mean, we base the value of each coin
What is at that time?
based on the value of all the other coins. Whereas NFTs, they're getting really, really creative. NBA TopShot.com is a popular new NFT that they're launching, more like the federal government, where they hold the database. It's not an open database, general ledger, where they're creating digital assets and selling them to people for a certain amount. I think the best example that I can give right now of a widely used cryptocurrency, and people might argue with me here that this is not a cryptocurrency, but I can defend it pretty well, I think, and NFTs, is in the game Fortnite. V-Bucks are cryptocurrencies, and the things you can buy with the V-Bucks are NFTs.
Interesting. So that could be any game then. Any game where you can buy
Absolutely.
buy
right.
the
So
money in that game.
The skin for, Deadpool is more expensive than the girl skin that just has a cool backpack.
God.
Right? So those skins inside of Fortnite
NFTs
are non-fungible tokens.
That's a good one. I bet everyone probably knows how knows
Right.
Fortnite. So.
And the V-Bucks inside of, it's a closed cryptocurrency, but I got to put real American dollars in there to buy V-Bucks, right? And they are a set price, and they're non-fungible, right? A V-Buck is worth a V-Buck, and I can, trade V-Bucks inside of, or I can't really trade.
But you can't get money back out for it. You just got to use it in there.
Correct. But I could sell you my account.
That's true.
I could find a creative way to create those things and then sell them to somebody else, right?
Got it.
Yeah,
That's funny.
That's a simple analogy to make the difference between cryptocurrency and NFTs.
I mean, I bet there's probably a lot of children that understand that concept then. Because I've had this conversation with my son because he likes
You
to
call
play.
me a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm calling you.
That's fine.
I mean, you like chicken nuggets, dude?
I like chicken nuggets, but I
PBJs?
only play Fortnite for 1 hour.
If you got all your schoolwork done, you got all your work done.
I get 1 hour a week regardless, and I promise you that I need those kinds of restrictions.
Oh, I think my son would argue the same thing. I need restrictions.
Yeah,
but...
I need those restrictions. When I was in my 20s, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh my God, dude!
Populous, I would.
That game was awesome, man.
When I got into Populous, the beginnings, I was probably 24, 25. And I would literally play until 8 in the morning, and I'd take a shower and go to work, and I'd literally be sitting at my desk thinking about my strategy to get through the next planet. Like, the whole day. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to get home. I'm going to destroy this next planet. And it was
I never played
horrible.
that game.
It was horrible. Populous the Beginnings is my favorite PC game of all time.
Got it. I never played it.
Yeah. Made by a company called Bullfrog. There is a new way to get it. Bullfrog went out of business, and there is a way to get it. I have it at home. I play it like once a quarter. I'll log in, and I'll play it, and I'll destroy a couple planets, and then move on with my day.
So you want to be really destructive? You're just like, I was going to play
There's strategy behind it, too, but it's a single-player game. I'm not a fan. I mean, Fortnite, I guess, is my
You don't like team stuff anyway, though, man.
Yeah, I play Fortnite in solo mode. I don't play it in squad mode.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You like rolling by yourself, dude?
Yeah, I like to win or lose. I don't like this vague thing where I get to say it's Brian's fault I lost. I like to. If I lose, I want to own my loss, right? I want to know how I screwed up so that I can get better. So. You're right. I'm not a team sports guy. My coach hated me when I played football, and my boxing coaches like me. So
it works out.
Yeah, it works out.
Awesome. So Ian, I hope that answers your question. All right, let's keep it moving along.
Yes.
So Matt asked, "Do you think that the Bitcoin bubble will ever burst? If so, what are a couple other currencies that you think could take its place?"
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Bitcoin. It is a finite coin, so there is only, right now at least, a set number of coins that can be mined.
Okay.
I like how when you're each time in set intervals, every time new hashes are added or more power is added, it gets harder to solve. Mm-hmm. So there's a built-in complexity on how we get more coins. And
Okay.
The fact that it is so valued right now, so highly valued, I think it's going to keep going up. The people that have it and have trust in it and are using it as a form of trade are going to make sure that the value stays up, right? Because they're not just going to walk from it. And
I mean, with more and more companies adopting payment in Bitcoin,
right,
it's hard to think that it's going to go
at
away.
At the end of the day, I mean, I've said this for not 15 years, but I've said this for a long time now. The minute that the banks realize that I can transfer millions of dollars worth of assets from one side of the world to another and verify that the funds are there in a couple of seconds or minutes.
I mean, that's valuable,
at
man.
almost no cost. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a significant thing. So, you were with me a couple months ago. I had to send like $1,500 to Pakistan.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
It was a horrible experience, right?
Yeah.
I had to go to Walgreens, or not Walgreens, I had to go to
Walgreens,
and find a money market, and I had to sit and dial this weird red phone. Right? It was such a weird...
It was awful by itself, and it's weird. It was not set
up...
weird
experience, right?
From start to finish.
Yeah. So, it was just horrible. So, and I'm like, asked the guy, I'm like, don't you not take Bitcoin? He's like, no, it has to be MoneyGram. And MoneyGram and Western Union are expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was $1,500. I think I spent like $45 on that transaction.
Man, that's crazy.
To get it over there. So, and it's a percentage of the transaction, right? So, I mean, $1 million transaction is going to be high.
Right.
Right? So, I also think that long-term microtransactions become possible.
So what is a microtransaction?
So right now, if you think about the easiest explanation for a microtransaction in today's world that I'm aware of is the parking meter. I go to a parking meter and I dump $1 in no matter what. Right? Well, I might have only actually used 10 cents of the time that I needed, right? So and the reason they do that is because it's really hard to break a quarter. Right? What are you going to break a quarter with? 2 dimes and a nickel, and then from there your pennies, right? So, do you want that change back? So it's not worth anybody's time. But in reality, if you had Bitcoin or some kind of cryptocurrency, and I could walk up and I could tap my phone, I tell the meter I'm there. It's going to take a draw, like pre-pumping gas, take a draw, and when I'm done, it can give me my exact change back.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Right? And then things like giving change back digitally for 15 cents makes sense because it didn't cost a whole bunch of money. Like today, if I owed you 15 cents and I wanted to give it to you digitally, well, you would just say forget about it.
Yeah, I would.
Right?
Yeah, I would.
But the local governments are getting those dollars and nobody's using the parking, or whoever owns the parking lot is getting that extra. They're getting that upside right now, right?
That's pretty sweet.
Microtransactions, things that are really affordable or really cheap. You know, a kid could literally go into a grocery store with cryptocurrency and buy a baseball card. Right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's so many things that aren't sold in micro doses today because the cost of the transaction is greater than the cost of the single item. Right?
That's a crazy concept to really think about that, right? Yeah. Like, you think about all the things.
You can't buy an M&M.
right.
You can't.
You don't buy one chip, right?
Yeah,
you buy the bag. I don't buy a sip of milk. I buy the carton.
Right. So long term, and I know we're kind of being silly with some of our examples, but if you think about those kinds of examples long term, then that makes sense to be able to do those microtransactions digitally. Whereas a credit card, you're talking about 2.9% on the transaction plus 30 cents. So vending machines would be a great use for that as well, right? A pack of gum in a vending machine. You know, do I want to spend $1 on it? No, it's worth 30 cents. Or a stick of gum, right? I'm not a big gum chewer, but sometimes I need it. Right? So, you know,
sometimes I need it.
I gotta buy a whole pack of gum every time, and then it sits in my, glove box and gets rotten because I only chew
until it melts, and you're like, damn it.
Right? So I think long term, as the world changes and these things happen, and our cost of food goes way down, hopefully, right? As we get off our dependency of beef and meat, and we go more plant-based, and hopefully that drives the price down long term.
Man, That's a really good point. I'm sitting there thinking about all the different things that if you micro bought it, I don't know, micro purchase,
Right.
it complete game changer.
Right.
Complete.
Yes.
But then I think about the other people that's part of the reason why I buy it in bulk. It's because it is cheaper to buy it in
Every
bulk.
transaction you make today, if you make it with a credit card, costs somebody 2.9% and roughly 10 to 30 cents per transaction.
Right.
Right? So think about if you're buying a Hot Wheel at Walmart, that's built into the price. Right? So our transaction fees are built into the price. And now the vendor just wins when you pay cash, right? Everybody wins when you pay cash. So it's really taking a digital currency like a credit card or points on a system and moving it to a digital way to transfer those funds.
Man.
And not as affordable as cash, but pretty close.
So I would think that like credit card processing companies hate Bitcoin.
Well, they'll
Or
either adapt or
cryptocurrency.
die.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
They're going to put them out of business.
Yeah, I mean, traditional credit card today is a buggy whip that just doesn't know it yet.
Interesting.
Right. Or they'll adapt and change. Right.
That's the way of the
And they'll
world.
start making gas pedals instead of buggy whips.
that's the
Right.
way of the world, right?
So, but yeah, they'll figure it out. I mean, MasterCard and Visa are smart companies. They got their stuff together. They're looking at crypto, you know.
They have to be.
And I'm betting that they're already using crypto and blockchain to transfer large amounts between large companies and still letting us pay the fees on the higher transactions, right? And then just
That's very
having
credit.
us pay.
It's very credit-like,
I mean,
right?
they're in business to make money. Like,
Right. Absolutely.
they don't even worry about that 25% interest rate that they're charging you. It's
Yeah.
loan shark money, man. It's
Exactly.
Not, yeah, it's horrible.
Okay, got it. So we're a little past halfway through, so let's go ahead and stop for our pause here for
Awesome.
a moment for our This Week in Tech History.
Yes, and this week in Tech History is brought to you by My Team Fitness. Daily workouts in your inbox every single day. Full body exercise workouts. Clicks and Bricks. Use the coupon code Clicks and Bricks to get 75% off your monthly subscription fee. Really good deal.
Check it out.
If you don't know where to start with your exercise, it's a fantastic place to start.
Or if you're like in recovery,
Yeah.
you need to take it easy and kind of crawl before you walk. It's a great
Yep.
place to crawl at.
Yes.
All right, so this week in tech history, okay, April the 4th, 1975, Microsoft is formed. Microsoft is founded as a partnership between Bill Gates at the age of 19 and Paul Allen, age 22, in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Wow. April 4th. What year?
1975.
Wow, that was my birth year. So a month before I
awesome.
was born, Microsoft was born.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm in May. So that's awesome.
The more I read up about Bill Gates, it's pretty interesting how all the things came about.
Yeah.
Right, like I can't remember all the stats on it, so it may not be completely accurate at this moment. But if it is close, what I got from it was that there was a time frame of about 2 years where there wasn't very many computers, and he had one.
Right.
So he was doing all these type of coding and building on a computer when no one else had one.
Right.
Right. So you
Well,
think
75, like nobody had, like very few people
Yeah.
had a home computer
yeah,
at that age.
yeah. So so the stat that was
But he
crazy.
didn't have a computer, right? Did he have one at home? I read somewhere that he like broke into a computer lab to get access to a computer.
Cause his dad was rich.
Okay.
His dad was rich, so he I think he's bought. He went where he was going to school at. They gave him access to it or something like that. And he
Right.
wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
So I bring that up because it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything.
Right.
He had 10,000 hours at 16
On a computer.
on a computer
Wow.
in 1975, or in that case, it was 1974 or 71.
Right.
So by 19, he was a beast at the computer, dude. So
Yeah.
of course he could It was nothing for him to be oh, this is child's
I mean,
play. man.
computing was wildly different back then. We didn't even have a multiprocessor, right? So you could literally. So I guess I was born in '75, right? So that tells you how old I am. At least. So and I was a special kid, so I had some privileges that most kids didn't get to have. I got to turn my homework in typed instead of handwritten because the teacher's like, I can't read this kid's handwriting anyway. So at a very young age, I got a word processor at my house, which was a digital word processor. But it was still a big clunky keyboard, right?
Yeah.
And it was a single-purpose machine. It just
Did one
literally printed documents. That's it. I had like an archaic It was a Brother word processor. Had a very archaic screen, an LCD screen that typed out the sentences that I had, and then when I hit print, it printed my document. That's all it could do.
Right.
And it was, half the size of this table here. Right. So, and then I had, second grade, we had a computer lab in my school. Very lucky to have that.
I said 75. Not people have that.
So, in second and third grade, I start learning C, just basic C, right? Not even C+. So, which was basically, here's a book, type in these commands and hit enter, and the machine will add for you. It will just count. Like, the first program I ever wrote was like, oh, the computer will just count to 1,000. And it was just basically
you probably thought that
1
was
plus
awesome
1 in
too.
a loop to 1,000, and at 1,000, right? So,
You thought you were the man when you did it too.
I don't even think at that time I knew what I was doing, right? I was just like following these, do this in this book and hit enter, and this is what you should see. So it was really more following direction than anything else. But this is about Bill Gates, not me. Thank you, Bill, for everything you've done for the world.
Yes.
And screw you a little bit for everything you've done to the world. But I think he's done more good than bad, right? Great guy. Warren Buffett gave him his entire, I don't know if he gave him his entire charity to run or a significant portion of.
I don't know how much you
Yeah.
gave to him.
So Warren Buffett's wife passed away, and she was the executor of like his philanthropy.
Yeah.
And Bill and Melinda do such a great job with their philanthropy that Warren Buffett's like, hey,
Hold it down.
my
man.
wife's she's gone. This isn't my jam. I like to buy stocks and stuff. Can you run with that? And they've been really good friends for a long time. But so what they've done in the computer world, Gates is a smart guy. He's doing great things in our world today. Hopefully, right? I know that he's big on clean water, trying to get clean water to third world countries, which is a gigantic problem. I don't understand why
He's
it's
big on buying vaccines.
He's really big on the vaccines. You can put your tinfoil hat on there if you want to.
Which is the next part of here, actually, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's a brilliant at getting you tied into his software, right? IBM's like, yeah, we love this DOS stuff. We want to buy it. He's like, no, we only license it, right?
Right.
And I feel
Smart move.
Well, I know, but with guys like him and guys like Bear, I kind of like, are you going to give me a vaccine that I have to license? Like, if I don't pay you next quarter, am I going to die?
Where's the buck stop?
Kind of thing. Like, so, business and medicine, I'm a capitalist through and through, but I just don't like the business of medicine. I think it's a little...
It feels dirty.
Yeah, I do believe that capitalism is the best way to move innovation forward.
But
you
got to keep your competitive edge.
My daughter's got allergies, so the EpiPen's shooting up to $2,000 a piece. Was a big issue in my house, right?
Right.
So we're not talking about medicine today. We'll move forward. So Bill Gates, great guy, does great things in the world. I love what he's doing today. He's taken all this stuff that he got from technology, and now he's focusing it on philanthropy. And
beautiful thing.
Hopefully, not only how many lives have he saved with the computer, because Windows is in every hospital in the country, in the world now, probably.
Well, and that's the next part here. Is that April 6, 1992, Microsoft releases Windows 3.1, priced at $149, selling 3 million copies over the next 2 months.
Yeah, it was junk. I had a Windows 3.1. I supported it. I worked at Washington University at the time. Not at that time, but later in life. And we were moving from Windows 3.1. We had Windows 3.1 and we had Mac in our lab. We had 20 of each, and we were moving from Windows 3.1 to Windows 95.
Got it.
And Windows 95 was...
It was a jam when it came out.
So much superior.
It was a jam.
To Windows 3.1, right? It was just like so much better.
Yes.
So
big jump.
And then shortly thereafter, the dial-ups come out. Like
change the game again.
We get out of the baud rate modems and get into the K rate modems. And
change the game again.
And we start really changing and moving a little faster. So it's a great time. Thank you, Bill, for everything you've done. And everything you continue to do for the country and the world, if that matters. there. So
Yeah, and we'll just keep it there.
keep figuring shit out. Clean our oceans. Figure that out.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah.
And maybe get Flint some water if you're big on the water. I mean, they haven't had water for quite some time, dude.
Yeah.
Kind of dropping the ball
Is that still
there.
a problem?
Yes,
Since
dude.
when?
Yeah.
They still don't have clean water.
They still don't have clean water, man.
I've not been hearing about it lately, so I just assumed they got it fixed.
Dude, it's a problem.
Yeah, water's an issue.
I couldn't imagine not having clean water in my house, dude. Could not imagine.
Yeah.
Or the city, for that matter.
Right.
Right, so let's keep it rolling before we get into a place where we probably don't want to be. Cryptocurrency, NFTs, that's what we're talking about. All right, and if you're listening to this on any one of our platforms, hey, Twitch again, make sure you subscribe and you give us all the stars. All right, rate us highly, please. Okay. All right, so Sammy, wait, did I skip one? Oh, no, I didn't. Sammy asks, what is cryptocurrency mining? Is that different from buying some on an app or a website?
Wildly different than buying, right? So buying bitcoins or cryptocurrency is simply buying them. Mining cryptocurrency is it's different for different cryptocurrencies. Have different algorithms and different rule sets based around them, which is part of which creates the value of each cryptocurrency, right? The rules behind it and the philosophy behind it. So with Bitcoin, there are a set number of blocks already predefined, right?
Right.
So mining those, one decrypting new bitcoins, right? So the bitcoins that are yet to be mined are still encrypted strings sitting in the general ledger, right?
So they're waiting.
They're waiting to be verified. So basically, the next one's in line. The entire community is going to look at it. They're going to try to decrypt it. Once that string's decrypted, and 51% of the mining pool says yes, that's the right decryption string, then that block is open. The miners that decrypted it get that block. Is that still accurate, Ron? Still.
It's in the right world.
Still pretty layman's terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought because that's the whole question part, right? They try
Right.
to answer the question. The question is the decryption code.
Right, they
They
decrypted
all-
that block. Now there's these, I think, are we 12.5 coins per block still? Or do you know? I don't know. It started with like 100, and then it was 50 coins per block, then it was 12.5 coins per block. I'm not sure if we've dropped again because I've not been in mining since 2017. So the first act of a miner is to decrypt new bitcoins, right?
Right.
They're already in the general ledger. They're just encrypted still. Once we decrypt the coins, the winner, the person that the miner that decrypted them, gets those bitcoins. Right? That's his reward for mining, and then he can then start transacting them. The second part of mining is making sure the general ledger is accurate. So if a coin goes from wallet A to wallet B, then 51% of all the miners have to process that transaction. It's processing the transactions, and they get a very, very small piece
Of that coin.
of that transaction.
Oh, the transaction, not the coin.
Right. So miners get the transaction fees, not the bank.
Oh.
Whereas if you spend money on a Visa, the Visa gets that 2.9% and that 30 cents, and actually it's broken up into a whole bunch of little bitty pieces. But the miners that verified the transaction get the transaction fees. Right now, the transaction fees are very, very low because in mining bitcoins today, still it's you really make money by getting that block and owning that block, right?
You want to get
That's where you really make the money. And most miners today, I think, are probably either have massive mines or they're mining in a pool.
I was going to say, I would think that pool is probably the way to go about
Right,
it.
and
Man.
mining in a pool. I don't know of any pools that are open today because I'm not doing it. BTC Guild was the one that we used a lot. Basically, a bunch of miners point their hashing power at them, and then they keep track of what each miner has mined. And if BTC Guild got a block, then it would equally distribute that block to all those miners. Is the way that would work. So mining and purchasing are wildly different.
Yes.
You do not. You can do one or the other. If you mine, you will sell your bitcoins, assuming, right?
That's kind of part of the point.
Is how you would pay for the power to do that, and it's power and equipment is all it is, right? It's all infrastructure play on mining, and it's to make any significant money, you have to have some kind of competitive advantage. Either you need to be able to press your own boards, make your own hardware, or have a very cool place. a very cold place that you want to be hot, and cheap electricity would be the benefits of mining. Also, great hobby, right? So if you want to mine some of these altcoins, is what we used to call them. I'm assuming that's what they're still called, alternative coins.
Okay.
Would be, if you wanted to learn about cryptocurrency in general, mining some of those would be a great way to learn some stuff, right? You would learn about graphics cards, GPU processing, CPU processing. You would learn about FPMG. Is that right? FMPG and ASICs chips. FMPG chips are processors that can be rewritten. So right now you buy an Intel processor or an ASICs processor. Intel's a multi-processor, right? FMPG processors are processors that I can write new code to.
Oh.
So I can change the code.
So
I can hop from if Litecoin has one algorithm, and I don't know the names actually, but if Ethereum had another algorithm with an FMPG, I could mine either one. I can change the code on the processor.
So give you more power to mine.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's still a single purpose processor.
Got it.
Right. So it's a single use processor that I can change, generally used in development. Right. So I'm going to develop an ASICs chip that is really, really fast at doing one thing. I start with an FPMG. Am I saying that right? FMPG. I apologize, and I don't even know what that stands for. Look for that, Ron, so that I can maybe start getting it right. You would start with that chip. Mm-hmm. You would put your code on it. You would work out all your bugs, and then you would send that to a chip printer, and he would print ASICs, which would then be faster than your chip that you designed.
Well, that would make your chip awesome at that point.
Put it into the silicone, and then you couldn't rewrite it though. Then it's single use. It is that use forever. That process.
Well, that's what you're doing it for anyway. If you want to mine hard.
Correct.
Right. So if it's going to speed you up, that's what you got to do.
So you would learn the difference between rewritable processors, single-use processors, multi-use processors, and GPU processing.
Man,
you would get to learn all of those things. So if you had if you've got a 15-year-old kid that loves living in the basement playing with technology, buy him some hardware and let him run and see what happens. Right?
Let him run.
I mean, that's embrace
your
weird ass kid that lives in the basement with figures and toys, because he could accidentally make the whole family rich.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys got some weird kids out there, get some hardware in their hands and sit back.
Get them internet, get them hardware, and let's see what happens.
Right, maybe get a backup generator because you may need some more power. A big ass cooler, you know what I'm saying, so you can keep everything cold, but beef up the AC, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we got about 7 minutes left here. We have 2 more questions. Hopefully we can get them both, but we'll see. We'll see.
Make it one.
We're doing so good. All right, so with Marcus asked, I've heard all the different types of NFTs, from from art to sport clips. This got me thinking, is it possible to create your own NFT?
Yes. So I'm actually working on a project right now to create services as an NFT. So I can't talk a whole lot about it, but yes, if you have an idea, NFT, I think it's kind of weird right now because NFTs to me are no different than baseball cards but digital, and they've been around for a long time. They just really haven't had a great name. There was a game called EverQuest years ago that it was very popular to build characters and sell them.
Man, that created a lot of problems for a lot of people.
Yeah, it did. A lot of problems. We got sued. People got in trouble. There was court cases. Like, there was literally harassment charges for this person this character inside this video game is harassing my character inside my video game.
It's blowing my mind, dude.
These, MMOGs, massive multiplayer online gaming, MMOG. What's that other word stand for? The processor, the rewritable processor. FPGA. And what's that stand for? So I'm sorry, I've been out of the that deep in hardware for a while. So it's FPGA. And it's a it's a specific kind of processor used generally for development purposes, and it's the step before you make an ASICs chip. and an ASIC chip is a single-use,
Rewritable.
highly efficient chip. ASIC's not rewritable.
The FP. Wait.
Yeah, you can see why. I What is it? Field programmable
Data array.
data array. Gate.
Gate array.
Right. Field programmable gate array.
Gate array.
So it's a field programmable chip that I can change on the fly.
Got it.
Right. Sorry for the confusion on that if I confused anybody, but
we get it.
yeah.
we get it.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
We can get
But
to
if
the
you
question.
if you have an idea to start your own crypto or your own
NFT.
NFT, definitely hit me up because I'm looking for ideas right now, and I've got some really amazing domain names to play with.
Facts.
And,
Big facts.
and we're looking for some tech to jump off with. So
Create partnerships. You never know.
yeah.
But everything lives and dies in communication. So reach out. Hit the
Yes.
text line at 314-216-2040.
Or mine's 314-370-2871.
Let's get it done. Let's get it done. So we got a few minutes left, so we'll go ahead and go after our last
let's give
question.
it a
Okay.
shot.
We got Vince here, and Vince says, if you were starting to invest and picking where you want to invest your money into for the very first time, what strategy would you use today, assuming you had $3,000 that you have committed to investing?
Oh wow, $3,000. What I would probably do is I would take. I'm gonna act like you're my nephew asking me.
Perfect.
Right? So I would take 1,500, and I would put 750 in Bitcoin and 750 in Ethereum. Right? Those are the two kind of
The
900
big
pound
dogs.
gorillas in there. And then I would take the rest of it, the other 1,500, and I would buy either 15 separate cryptos or 30 separate cryptos. So I'd put $100 in a lot of these smaller ones. The two that I would definitely get would be Doge and Terra. No,
It was
I've got it right here.
was it G or a K? I don't know what it was.
Litecoin's always good. It's kind of been stagnant for a long time. Cardano, ADA
Cardano.
is its ticker. It's like $1.19 right now. And the reason I say those is because if you can get a coin at $1 or below, I like Doge because it's like 6 cents right now.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk is.
He backed it.
Either he's backing it or the media says he's backing it. And I'm not sure which one it is. But for 5 cents, $100. I bought $100 worth the other day. It was like 1,700 Dogecoins. So, I mean, just think about that. $100. If it goes to $1, you're doing great. So,
Right.
I would take half of it and put it in staples, and I would take the other half and I'd put it in kind of randoms. And I'm assuming that you already have your 401k set up. I'm assuming that you already have some traditional investments set up. That's what I would tell my nephew to do. If you didn't have the other stuff, I would say take 1,000 of it, put it in the S&P 500 in this publicly traded stock market, and then use a similar strategy with the last $2,000. So
There you go.
that's what I would tell my nephew to do. If he had $3,000, if you don't have anything at all, I would say $25, $50 a month. Put them in there. Put them in the popular ones, and a couple of dollars and buy some Dogecoins and things like that. $10 worth of Dogecoins. Things like just because the upside
It's huge.
could be so big, right? I mean, I sold a lot of Bitcoins at like $5. Dumbest thing I've ever done, right? Like,
Man.
it's just stupid. I was mining Bitcoin and buying pizzas on Friday nights and buying T-shirts and and to be fair, I think some of those early transactions are what helps Bitcoin be what it is today.
Right.
So
You needed those.
those needed to happen. I just screwed up and got completely out. I got burnt too bad.
Well, you got burned hard though.
Yeah, and then said, you know what? I'm leaving this behind. And my $6,000 roughly of crypto that I still have was like leftover stuff in the wallet that was too hard to sell because it was too small. To be money, right? I mean, these are fractions of coins,
Right.
Bitcoins now that are worth a decent amount of cash today. Not a lot, but I'm not going to retire off of it.
But it's something to play around with now.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
think about Dogecoins, man. I think there was a time that Bitcoin was 5 cents.
Right.
Not that long ago, 10
You
years
gotta
ago.
crawl before you walk.
10 years ago, Bitcoins were free. Right? You could
crazy.
People just give them to you.
It's crazy to think about.
Like a lot of them. I've probably given away over 100 Bitcoins in my life.
Oh man.
Like
And
just
now they're like
bumping wallets, just
58
like, yeah, right, send it to him, yeah. I mean, I remember I was at a bar one night in St. Louis. We were at a Bitcoin meetup, and we did a Zoom call with a bar in New York, and we were literally buying each other's beers. Like it's just like a way to kind of show, you know, we went to bars that accepted Bitcoins
Nice.
at the time.
That's pretty cool.
And we would buy each other beers from a bar in St. Louis to a bar in New York.
That's pretty cool.
Just hanging out, having a good time, and goofing off. Just see, can this work?
And it
And
did.
did.
I mean, that's exciting.
Yep.
But I think you're right, though. I think without that happening, I don't think, without that happening at massive scale, it would be really hard for Bitcoin
Yeah,
to do
in no
what
way
it
do I
is
think
right
my
now.
transactions set Bitcoin on its back. But I think, you know,
Well,
everybody
hindsight's
that was
20/20.
doing those, yeah, everybody that was doing those, and that was a
You
big
weren't
part
alone,
of the
though.
process was,
You weren't alone.
You know, these Bitcoin groups were literally, we were getting together and saying, how can we do this so that we can get these to the mainstream?
Yeah.
And how do we make it easier for
Right.
these transactions and stuff like that? So
And you weren't alone doing that. Like, there's a bunch of people doing that.
there are meetup groups all over the world.
Right? I have a few buddies that's been in crypto for a while. I was like, dude, I buy all like my crap with here, right? So
Yeah.
stuff around my house, I buy yard stuff, I buy just
Yep.
buy random stuff.
Yep.
Right? So that's our time here today. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to hit subscribe and rate our channel. If you're looking for if you have more questions that you want to ask, topics you want us to go after, make sure you text my line at 314-216-2040.
And my line is 314-370-2871. We'll throw the emails up on the screen. Get to work.
Make it count, y'all.